Hello everybody, what is up, soul warriors, game changers, and rays of the sun? My name is Master Juniper Blue Mystique. I am an Ascension Master, a Master Healer, and a Divine Guide. And since 2019, I had a Kundalini awakening and began doing things like clearing Mount Shasta, activating pyramids, and things that were not normal. My awakening is what unfolded, okay? And it all pertains to the return of the gods, the return of Christ, which is not just a man named Jesus. But today I have something very important to talk about. I wanted to know what Spirit said about what is happening with Elon Musk and with Trump. Some of you may know they have gotten into a big feud, okay? Supposedly. So here's the thing about that. It was way before Elon was even in the White House. Like, we're talking like, I don't even know. Let me see what day I released it. May 3rd of 2022, I did a video on Elon Musk. In the end of this, we're going to watch that, okay? I channeled about Elon Musk on May 3rd of 2022, and Spirit is nudging me to play that today, but I will do that after I read what Spirit said and after we kind of dive into this feud that is going on with them. What is this feud? Why is it happening? First of all, I'm going to tell you is that even when we are shown things, it doesn't mean that we are shown everything. Okay, so they are very careful with what they do show us. There is like this filter things must go through. And if things are leaked, like, they get pissed off, right? They don't like that. So a lot of times we are not shown the absolute truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. So there are pieces probably missing. But you guys, when you see what I said about what came through, I didn't say it, I channeled it, and in the end something very massive and loud came through, okay? And it had to do with Saudi Arabia. Went sideways, right? Maybe not. Okay, so what does Saudi Arabia have to do with this? I don't know. Let's find out. First, I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of what is going on with this feud, okay? What is this feud? Why is it important? It actually ties back into the video I did back in 2022. Psychic I am. I didn't even know he was going to be in the White House at that time. Okay. And it actually, some things came through. So let's listen very carefully to something. Let's watch something. I haven't specifically picked out anything to watch, but we're just going to pick one. Let's see. So Kathy Wood says the Musk-Trump feud reveals how much Musk's companies rely on the government. Okay, so there is some things like coming out here that also kind of go with my video from back in 2022 that we're going to watch. But Spirit actually gave me a whole few pages about what this is about and what might be the outcome of this, okay? So let's look at from key advisor to bitter feud. What Spirit says in this makes a lot of sense too. I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. So let's listen to this, okay? Let's see what it says. If it's going to let me push play. I'm like, what is happening? Are you going to play? Maybe not. Let's see. Oh, it wants to like have a brain fart here. I didn't play anything ahead of time. I don't usually like to know too much about anything before I channel things from Spirit. So that's just how I do things. I like being the pure channel. I like my information not being mucked up by anything else, right? So let's just... Oh my goodness, y'all, it froze. It done froze. Of course it's freezing right now. Why wouldn't it? There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna exit out of that one because my computer system is like, meh, meh, meh. Okay, let's try something different. So it apparently threatens his business empire. Let's see if this one will play.
They say that breaking up is hard to do. It's been just over 24 hours since the President Trump-Elon Musk friendship and alliance disintegrated into a ball of dust. And now the two men appear to be going through different stages of grief for President Trump. The stage seems to be acceptance. Today he told CNN's Dana Bash in a phone call, quote, "I'm not even thinking about Elon. He's got a problem. The poor guy's got a problem," unquote. And indeed, so far at least, we have not seen another Trump remark or post on social media about Elon Musk. When Dana asked Trump, pardon me, when Dana asked Trump about reports that he was going to have a phone call with Elon Musk, Trump said, quote, "No, I won't be speaking to him for a while, but I wish him well," unquote. Dana said the president did not sound angry. He sounded resigned. And here's another breakup hallmark. An official tells CNN that the president plans to get rid of that red Tesla that he purchased from Elon Musk in March. He's going to sell it or maybe even give it away. As for Elon Musk, figuring out where he's at in the process of grief, well, that seems more complicated. Last night he appeared to be in the bargaining stage. He replied to a random user on his X or Twitter platform who said, "This is a shame, this back and forth. You are both better than this. Cool off and take a step back for a couple days," to which Musk said, "Good advice. Okay, we won't decommission Dragon." That's a reference to his SpaceX Dragon spacecraft that yesterday Musk threatened to take away after Trump threatened to end Musk's lucrative government contracts. Let's go now to CNN's political director and Washington bureau chief, David Chalian. Let's take a step back here, David. The richest man in the world is now claiming it was only with his help, his hundreds of millions of dollars, that Trump was able to win last.
So listen to this carefully because this actually goes with what I channeled back in 2022 about Elon Musk. That's the cray-cray part here. I mean, it's not crazy to me because I know what I've been doing and I know everything that I touched from Tupac's murder and Diddy to even Elon Musk was a part of the Return of Christ work. It really is. So if you guys think that these things don't have some kind of major undertone of undoing, they do. Okay? So Elon Musk is literally sitting here saying that if it weren't for him, Trump wouldn't have even won the White House. I don't know about you, but I didn't even know he had his little weasel toes in there until afterwards. But, you know, maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe you guys knew. I didn't know. I feel like no matter what, Trump would have been in the White House because that was actually written in the stars. It was written in the stars. I know I helped protect him a few times. I knew he was going to be assassination attempted. That even actually played out on this channel as well, where I talked about that, where God said they were going to attempt to kill him. He had me ground him, put protections up not because of anything in particular other than he's here to help expose truth and to undo the agenda, right? Because that is the return. So Trump is not necessarily the darkness. He's not anything other than he is on his specific path. He does have a purpose. He is kind of connected to the light because I had to ground him in things. I didn't touch Elon Musk, okay? Let's just make that clear. Elon Musk has an agenda, okay? Elon Musk has an agenda. And it was shown when I did the video in 2022 that I'm gonna show you that. First of all, here is the video that I did back in 2022. You see, May 3rd, 2022. Who is Elon Musk? I used to do unsolved mystery cases until the New Earth stuff came through. So yeah, and it just doesn't align all the time. So I get to do these things a little bit more. But let's listen to this again. Let's hear.
The richest man in the world is now claiming it was only with his help, his hundreds of millions of dollars, that Trump was able to win last November. That's a shocking thing for him to say. I'm not sure if it's true or not. but it certainly doesn't say anything good about either the role of money in politics or what Bernie Sanders might call the role of oligarchs.
Right. It seems to suggest, right, that Musk is leaning into his ability to influence and purchase election results here, which, by the way, he has a mixed record on. Now, you are right. He spent north of $290 million in 2024 in support of Trump, the single largest individual contributor on the Republican side of politics. But just more recently, Jake, he spent $23 million to try and win a Supreme Court race in Wisconsin and failed pretty miserably at that. So I guess, yes, it says something about money in politics. What I think is clear from them today is that they both kind of, I would say, step back from the brink, but they already like went over the cliff there or whatever. So I would say clearly neither side saw advantage today in actually escalating or keeping up that frenetic pace of attacks that we saw yesterday.
The feud also could be consequential for Trump's legislative agenda. The so-called Big Beautiful Bill, which obviously extends the Trump tax cuts and includes some spending cuts, especially when it comes to Medicaid. It also adds trillions to the national debt, which is what Musk is objecting to, how it doesn't rein in spending enough. What sort of impact might Musk's opposition to this legislation have, do you think?
Jake, we don't see any sort of votes moving because of that right now. The impact that it's having right now is it's complicating Mike Johnson and John Thune's, the Republican leaders in the House and the Senate, like their ability to move this smoothly to a landing. But we don't know of anyone that has said, hey, now that Musk is really on board with fighting against how much money is being spent in this bill or how much it adds to deficits and debts, I'm no longer on board with it. We do find some people who are already aligned with that argument using Musk's sort of spotlight right now on the issue as a way to bolster their argument, but I'm not sure it changes the course of where this bill is likely going, Jake.
You know, the interesting thing to me is supposedly Trump wouldn't be in the White House if it weren't for Elon. Yet, what is Elon doing? I feel like it was more about his own agenda. Okay? Now, Spirit channeled information. I asked Spirit about this, okay? And it makes it makes things kind of a little bit more clear in my thought process. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. So, you know, he has an agenda. So let's listen.
All right, David Chalian, thanks so much. Let's bring it.
Like, let's say, just wait till you hear what Spirit said, and then I'll be like, okay, maybe he wouldn't throw such a 2-year-old tantrum if he wasn't told no. Let's listen.
In our panel now, David Urban, source tells us that President Trump told Vice President Vance to be diplomatic, to speak diplomatically about Elon Musk. Trump seems to be laying uncharacteristically low, almost eerily quiet when you think of the bomb that Musk dropped yesterday on social media saying that Trump is on the Jeffrey Epstein list, which we have no evidence is true. What do you think's going on here? Do you think he just wants to kind of like ignore this and just so he can focus on getting the legislation passed?
Yeah, Jake, I think a couple things. One, I don't think Trump wants to deal with this. You're exactly correct. I think President Trump is focused on getting the big, beautiful bill done. There's lots in there that he campaigned on the border, on tax cuts. So many things are hanging in the balance here. He doesn't want to be distracted by what is this incredible sideshow that has become that is started with Elon Musk. You know, Jake, you asked David Chalian if Elon was responsible for his victory. I had a little bit to do with some of these races in 16 and 20 and 24. I can tell you only one person wins or loses these races. It's Donald Trump. And if you think money has that big a deal, has that much to do with it, ask why we don't have a President Michael Bloomberg who spent $500 million in the primary and won, to Kevin Sheeky's chagrin, I think, one delegate. And so...
So first of all, Elon Musk isn't necessarily dumb either. When you put something like that out to the jury or to the American people, it doesn't go away. It's almost like if a judge says, strike that evidence, the jury must forget they heard that. They never forget they hear that. So he's like planting seeds of poison. Okay? He's planting seeds of poison. So I asked Spirit, I'm like, what is this all about? Why is this feud happening right now? Why is Elon saying all of these things about Trump? Like, what is happening? What is going to be the outcome? I'm going to dive in now to what Spirit says, because it kind of makes a lot of sense to what you see going on. Okay. Now, they said they have no evidence of Trump being on Elon or the Epstein Island thing. I'm going to tell you right now that, you know, a lot of people with money were. Okay. A lot of people. Now, remember where Trump came from. He came from that show, The Apprentice, right? And things like that. And he's always had money. And so there might be some ties there. But let's listen very closely to what Spirit has to say. Okay? Elon Musk is being pressured for karmic reform. Okay, so I need to tell you something. Okay, before I get into Spirit's message, you need to understand something completely. For some of you may not understand this. Some of you may be familiar with what I talk about here, but my channel is not normal. Who I am is not normal. The things that I do are not necessarily normal. Okay? So this is my playlist that you're going to find Return of Christ Unfolds here. It truly is the work of the return that just was my awakening. It just unfolded. It began way back in 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, and it's been going on ever since, okay? From clearing Mount Shasta, which was actually the red dragon, but that wasn't shown until years later. Part 1 and 2, freeing Jesus' soul, processing how he truly died, healing the moon and the sun to their true stuff. This is what I've been doing. Now, part of this, if you skip, you can watch the whole entire thing unfold from activating pyramids, feminine and masculine, okay? You guys, what I'm going to tell you right now is stuff has shifted. Things have changed on the physical plane, spiritual plane, energetic plane. And it happened in the spiritual and energetic plane first, and now it's starting to unfold in your reality. And the Trump-Musk feud is no exception to that rule. But it's bigger than you know, okay? So this goes through the whole entire thing, all right? So the Sphinx being awokened, what is the Sphinx truly? Activating dormant chakra systems, taking us into 7D, not 5D, where Atlantis really was, actually processed through me in this one. The truth of things, all played out on this channel. It's not a maybe, it's not like a whoa. I couldn't make it up if I tried. It was my own awakening. It blew my mind, okay? But in the end of this recently, like bringing down the blood of Christ, undoing the Holy Grail, you guys, these were their anchors into the agenda and the system that once was, and they have been undone, okay? So this weird White House feud between our current president and who came in to be this Doge, right, his right-hand man or whatever, which surprised me, but then it didn't when I watched my video that we're going to watch in the end here. It's no coincidence, okay? To drying the Nile, it turned blood red and I dried it, but then later on it also processed out the Nile is the river of justice, and we all must cross that in the final portal in the end of days, and that's kind of where we're at, okay? So these things, even to feuds with Trump and Elon Musk, I kind of talked about way back when. I mean, they kind of were shown, and it's all part of the pieces of the undoing. It really is. So everything truly does matter. Everything truly has a purpose, more than you know. Okay, Horus returned, Sekhmet returned with the Nile, Jesus and Mary Magdalene and undoing the Holy Grail, and then the final ones were Adam and Eve. Okay, Project Bluebeam, freeing the souls from the Twin Towers, what that really was came out, undoing religion, and then finally processing New Earth came about, and we really did. And as I was doing that, I was cutting off the matrix. And some of you just aren't ready to see that yet, but either way, you're going to, okay? And then I undid the money matrix and the pentagon, okay? Now on one of these things, it talks about their feud and how it affects the pentagon, okay? You feeling me so far? Then I started undoing the Sistine Chapel, which I didn't see coming, and that was the darkest portal. Okay, so there's no coincidence the Pope died on Easter either. I told you Trump would win the election, and he did. Okay. Let's look at this. These are all here. I predicted for 2025 predictions. I also did that, and some major stuff came out. I don't know where it is. It's in here somewhere. Here it is. 2025 predictions have all been coming through, from the Pope, death of the Pope, to death of Biden was in there as well, to airplanes coming out of the sky, to the fires. It's all there, and we have more to come too. So let's keep listening, because then this goes into the undoing of the judicial system. So the Sistine Chapel Part 2 came through about 2 months ago, right before Easter, and I said St. Francis's heart stopped when I was undoing it. Okay, I like ripped his soul out. It's very real. And then on Easter, he did die. And then God said what that means, okay? And who the Antichrist really was going to be. It's not Trump, okay? Then I undid the Supreme Court. I need you to understand this, because the two key components to the major portals of darkness was the Sistine Chapel and then the Supreme Court of Justice. Now, if you're paying attention truly to the White House right now, everything that Trump is doing is being combated by the judicial system, okay? Trump is here to expose things, okay? We're not meant to remain in the same version of the world that we were always in. And if you think we were, I don't know what else to tell you. If you think the White House is going to remain the same, it's not. When I cleared Kilimanjaro and the masculine pyramids, if you truly are watching the work that I've done over these last 5-6 years, however long it's been, it's all right here for you to see. That's the thing. It's just some of you don't want to see the truth. But if you really watch these pyramid activations, when I activated Kilimanjaro, I also demolished the White House. It burns, it implodes. There were portals underneath that. It was connected to the Antichrist. It really was connected to that blueprint. But who the Antichrist is rises through the Sistine Chapel. And then when I undid the judicial system, Sistine Chapel Part 1, I freed angels from there. They were the cherub angels. They were trapped. Cherubim angels are the protectors of the Garden of Eden. Then I told you Trump would win. Okay, false foundations will crumble. Karmic kickback applied. Foundation of God required. This is what's happening. I undid the pentagram, the pentagon, the money matrix. I undid the medical matrix, but you can't watch that here because YouTube likes to control our freedom of speech. And they didn't like that because it was too much truth. They didn't like that. It's part of one of the bigger components of the Antichrist system. Talked about Stonehenge, but this is really important to understand. This is undoing the Sistine Chapel came through, and God gave a message in here, and he used scripture to do it, and I had to decipher that. I had to understand what he was saying, and he literally said it's time for the light to rise only. And there's no punishment for those who don't, but only those who rise will be rewarded, because this is the end of ways. Okay, it really is. Then I undid the judicial system, and we shackled El Diablo. Okay, and they kept calling it De la Muerte. And I guess that's the Day of the Dead. I did it on a 1313 portal because there's 13 gates to heaven. I've been doing the earth octaving, and all this stuff has been coming through. The red dragon processed through, and I didn't know that was happening. They had me draw a white dragon right before that, and I had no idea why. The red dragon was Mount Shasta. California's been cut off. That's not a maybe either, okay? This is important to understand. And then the Pope died on Easter, and I was like, and he died the way I said he was going to die. Like, his heart stopped. Okay? That's what happened, and then he had a stroke. Because when your heart stops, you're going to bleed out. It can happen. It works in one and the same. Irreversible cardio, whatever he had. And then the stroke ensued. Okay, so it's exactly what I said would happen, and it died on Easter. Now, what was Easter? Was a false resurrection. It was a resurrection where they stole the soul of Jesus. Okay, that was the Holy Grail. All right, understanding so far? I hope so, because, you guys, this stuff's very real, and it was my own awakening. Okay, I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know it was happening. It just comes through me. These are workshops. A lot of these are workshops, the actual work. Okay, where I use my Kundalini light to activate those pyramids. I freed the souls that were trapped in Mount Shasta. Then I burned Archangel Samael there. And then when I undid the Sistine Chapel, I had to spread blood all over the chapel, which was the anointing. I freed the angels, and then I undid the false wording in the Bible. And then I took the soul out of the Pope. That really did happen. And then like a week later on Easter, he died. Okay. And I told you God said who the next pope would be and who the Antichrist was, okay? It's not Trump, all right? So I need you to understand this. 2 years ago, I also did a video about Elon Musk. No, back in 2022. That's 3 years ago now. Why did I do that? Because Spirit nudged me to, and it did play into what is happening in the end of days. That is who I am, okay? So this is what God is saying about, this is the message I channeled through. Now, this message ended with something I was like, what? We're talking American spies and Saudi Arabia and things like that, okay? So listen here. This got real. It's not just about Elon Musk. That's what I'm telling you. These are little pieces that they're showing you to the big undoing. Okay, so Elon Musk is being pressured for karmic reform. So when I say karmic reform, the only way to rise is to heal your karma. That goes back into the video I did back in 22 about him too. Okay? Like a kettle boiling over in an attempt of being reborn, right? So there's lots of pressure on him at a soul level. Temptations are getting the best of Elon. That's what Spirit said, is temptations are getting the best of Elon. Temptations of money, having things his way. So he is playing in things he doesn't, it's not a game, okay? It will determine where his soul goes. Trump was on the Epstein list back in his time of The Apprentice, okay? He's been cleaning his karma by following the path he is on. Now, when I say that, I feel like there's like just money ties, you know what I mean? But it may not be exactly what you think it was, but either way, in God's eyes, he's clearing that karma. I guarantee you many people are not perfect. It's not about perfection. But he's clearing his karma by following the path he is on, okay? He didn't have to take this path, but he did it because it's his soul path. That was his karmic clearing path. That was his purpose, and he took it. He chose it. So there is more exposures to come. That is what he is doing. That's Trump's purpose, and I talked about that in my videos. I talked about that when he was going to take the White House, and I told you he would, and he did. I talked about that when I was putting protections on him because God told me to before he took the White House. So he has a purpose of undoing the agenda. He's not a part of the agenda. He's also not the Antichrist. But the White House was part of the Antichrist blueprint. But if you notice, everything and everyone is going against Trump, including the judicial system, which was also part of the Antichrist. Okay? So there is more exposures to come. That is what he is doing. But many make everything he does very difficult. Listen, the past is not the only future determinant. The choices in the now do and are what determines the truth of their soul and heart. So were you perfect? Did you never do anything that wasn't exactly kosher? We're all not perfect. It's about where your heart truly is, and what you're willing to do to clear it and make things right. So Elon wants all things his way. Wait till you watch my video. I don't even know all of what it says, but I remember some things from back in 22. You guys, I literally talked about Elon Musk in 2022. I talked about Diddy in 2022 when I processed who killed Tupac. And there's no coincidence to the return of Christ work with everything that I've done that it's circling back around now, okay? A matter of fact, all of the unsolved mystery cases that I've done keep circling back around. It's pretty interesting. So everything I did had a purpose in that, and I knew it. It had a purpose with clearing karma, with drawing karma to the surface. So Elon Musk wants all things his way and doesn't like it when he is told no. The executive order will change. I don't know what this means. I'm getting chills though. Hear me. The executive order will change. There was another part of this. Judicial reform and municipal adjudication. Let's look. So I had to look that up. I'm like, what is municipal adjudication? And that refers to the process by which violations of city ordinances are heard and decided, often by a hearing officer or administrative tribunal, rather than a traditional court. Ooh. Okay, so that's municipal adjudication. It refers to the process by which violations of city ordinances are heard and decided, often by a hearing officer or administrative tribunal, rather than a traditional court. It's designed to provide a more efficient and less formal process for resolving minor infractions. So if you noticed, I told you that there was going to be a battle between Trump and the judicial system. I already told you that a while ago, and it's happening right in front of our eyes. Everything he's doing is being undone by the judicial system or combated, or like he will put in an order and the judicial system changes it. And it's no coincidence to undoing the judicial system. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And Trump being here to expose truths. It's literally, everything I said is literally happening right in front of our eyes. Kind of hard to deny it. I mean, but you can, you can always pretend something's not what it is. Okay, so then we have executive order will change, judicial system reform, and municipal adjudication. Now, I showed you I undid the judicial system right after I undid the Sistine Chapel. And that was on the 1313 portal, and that's when God said, now it's time for the darkness to rise, but it's also time for the light to rise. Okay? So, executive order will change. What is the executive order? What do they mean? What does that mean? I don't know. Executive orders are like the presidential orders. Okay? Let's just keep that in our pockets and see how that unfolds, because I get a lot of gobbledygook about that. But it says executive order will change. Then it said judicial reform, and then it said municipal adjudication. Okay? So Trump is being backed into a corner. Listen very carefully. Trump is being backed into a corner, and we may not like the final outcome. Executive order will change, judicial reform, municipal adjudication. Trump is not a weak fool. Okay, he's not. Trump is I just got a lot of chills. He's a fighter. He's a warrior. Trump is being backed into a corner, and we may not like the final outcome. Put that in our pocket. Will Elon Musk leave the White House? I asked, and I got yes and no. So listen to this. And I'm like, what does that? Why would I get both answers? Listen very carefully. Will Elon Musk leave the White House? Yes and no. Now wants to be the leader of the free world. I said that back in 2022. I'm going to show you that. Has something up his sleeve. Let's listen very carefully. So he is being karmic reformed. He's being pressured, but temptations, like poisons, are getting the best of Elon. So he is on a karmic path as well, and he's supposed to clear it, but instead the temptations are getting the best of him. Okay? So will Elon Musk leave the White House? Yes and no. Wants to be the leader of the free world. Okay? This was all his agenda. He has something up his sleeve. Trump might change his rule, okay? If Elon decides to stay, so that might happen. It might be where like Elon's like, sorry, can I stay? Trump might change his rule, okay? In some capacity, Elon will remain, even if unseen. Because he has something up his sleeve. He was doing some of this on purpose. If he can take the power away from Trump and make himself look like he has an upper hand, that kind of goes into my video in 2022. Let's listen. So the system is being undone seam by seam. Listen to this very carefully. Seam by seam, like stitch by stitch. A lot of things are going to come our way. A lot of things, continually. From nuclear war, screams of fear, okay, to changes in leadership on a massive level. Nothing will remain this way. I told you I undid the White House. It literally burned to the ground. I undid their power with the pentagram and their alignment and their use of the light. Like all of that's been undone. It was a part of the system. Trump is not the Antichrist. He's here to help expose and take it down. Trade shifting and seas drifting. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I skipped one. So nothing will remain this way. Electrical reform and dams closing. Now, I showed you the electrical stuff, the fall of the false energy grid, all of that, and water. I told you guys that was coming when I was octaving the pyramids. I showed you that. I literally showed you that. And so now it says electrical reform and dams closing. Trade shifting and seas drifting. A massive shakeup no one sees coming. Judicial reform. A lot going on behind the scenes, behind the curtain, so to speak. Like Watergate. Watergate's come out before, I think, when I did something about the Grand Canyon, maybe. Which Grand Canyon is not as important as other things were in history. But Watergate exposures are coming. Okay? Watergate is not what they told you it was. One by one, the powers that be will fall apart. What cannot be. Financial shift, a power play. Something huge is on its way. Saudi Arabia. I told you. Something came out and I was like, whoa, whoa. We just went left. Now I know Obama and what I did a thing about Obama and what they said about him. And Saudi Arabic ties came through. I'm going to say that again. I did a video about Obama a while ago. I don't know, a couple years ago. And so, maybe a year ago, I don't know, you'd have to look on my channel, and Saudi Arabic ties came through. So when this came through, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. Saudi Arabia, massive American allies. I'm going to read that again. Saudi Arabia, massive American allies, but not for the benefit of mankind. Inside American spies. A massive change in tides. That brought me back to Obama. Is Obama a spy for Saudi Arabia? I'm going to tell you there's a lot going on that people aren't seeing. I don't know. It goes with my videos. Now we need to watch the video I did about Trump. I mean, and Elon Musk. It was about Elon Musk. And this might show us more. So I did this back in May 3rd of 2022. Okay? Pull that up. He's quite a bit older than me. He is married to Grimes, and they have a son with a name I do not care to pronounce. Now, the reason why he named his kid this, by the way, was out of ego. And that's what they told me. So he has a very large ego. Very large ego. So be very careful with somebody like this because he seems one way. But he has an agenda. Okay? And that's what Spirit is also telling me. He has an agenda. So he owns Tesla, SpaceX. He's a co-founder of PayPal. Like all of these things. He's got his little tentacles all over the place. Okay? So there's a reason he's doing that. There's a reason he's putting his little feelers through every little thing of the world right now. There's also a reason he's making us think that he is a good guy. Is he full-blown not in the light? No, I wouldn't say that. He has a purpose in this lifetime, just like we all do, that is part of the ascension. Okay, got an itch on my back. Told you. Elon Musk has a purpose, as we all do, that is part of this ascension. Okay? There are a few players that do. Drew Barrymore is one of them. I've mentioned her through my things that we've done in my workshop. She has come through many times, actually. Drew Barrymore is one of them. Russell Brand's another one, which, by the way, he's actually doing his just fine. And I think Drew Barrymore is starting to... Oh, I just did a video about Russell Brand, too, because he was exposed for sex stuff. And he's on the path of clearing. I told you, and I did that when I said he was clearing it. And I talked about that back in 22. Look at that. Look at that. Turn. And now I heard something about her show being canceled because of it. So the thing is there are certain players that are supposed to change things. They're supposed to oust things. They're supposed to change things and bring things into the light. So Elon Musk, what I will tell you about him is they are calling him an mogul of entrepreneurship.
entrepreneur. Let me try this again. I don't know why I'm having a hard time speaking. A mogul of entrepreneurship. Let me try that again. A mogul of entrepreneurial. This could be a blooper. I'm gonna leave it in. Because I really can't talk, guys. A mogul of entrepreneurial.
I don't know why that one got me.
Benefit. I don't know why I cannot pronounce that right now. This would be a blooper if I had like a production crew and I didn't edit these by myself. That would be a blooper right there. Because I cannot for the life of me pronounce this right now, and I normally can pronounce many, many things. He is a mogul of entrepreneurial benefit. All right. Thanks
So
for
a
letting me know.
mogul of entrepreneurial benefit, and didn't they say he's like, it's all about the money. So it's because of him Trump made it in, because I paid his way in, and and I'm the richest man in the world, so I have all this power, and that's what he's about. And that I undid the financial system. Okay, money cannot be what reigns. You understand? It has to be love.
Laugh with me. Don't judge. All right. He grew up and he grew into a place of people with money and that had power already. So I feel like he was already born into a situation of power. I don't know a lot about him. This is what I've channeled, okay? So I channeled it, and I did know he was Tesla, and I know we're constantly bombarded with his face. And then I know recently he bought Twitter. I don't like Twitter. There's something with that. I don't like Instagram. There's something with that. I really don't like Facebook, but Spirit has me go there because there's people I need to help. However, there's something going on here. Okay, and if you guys haven't noticed, Mark Zuckerberg also recently did something with Facebook where he got in trouble big time, and so what did he do? He just changed the name. Okay, we'll just change the name and everybody will forget about what was done. Oh, Lord.
Oddly, though, Mark Zuckerberg, something shifted there. It was really weird. Anyways, let's listen.
Okay, so
Hopefully y'all can
everybody's
hear
like
it.
following.
If you can't hear it, I'm going to post this link underneath this video. It's on my channel. And it was from back in 2022. Let's listen about Elon Musk.
This guy, right, Elon Musk, as if he's something special. I will also tell you he's a cheater. They did show me that he has cheated on Grimes a few times. And so his loyalty is not where people think it is. Okay, he is not full-blown darkness. I do see the reptilians, like he has made a couple of choices where they are starting to kind of infiltrate his decision-making. And that's what I'm telling you. This is...
Oh, that goes back to the beginning of their message here. Temptations are getting the best of him right now. And his loyalty is not where you think it is. So if you thought his loyalty was with Trump from the beginning, think again. He had an agenda.
This is what Spirit showed me. So Elon Musk comes from an Orion and an Andromedan energy. Okay, Andromedan and Orion energy. Andromedan, like these are places where he frequents. He comes through these portals. He's an alien, big time. He is an Andromedan and Orion. He is supposed to clear this Orion karma. That is his purpose in this lifetime. He is a leader, Andromedan energy. He's a leader. He is both light and darkness, my friends. And there was a picture of him that I had seen where he was wearing a white suit with a little black thingy here. And that was like the best depiction for him because he is both light and dark. Elon Musk is both light and dark. What does that mean? That means he's made some decisions in his past that in order to ascend, he needed to clear. Okay? He has been a leader before, but he has led people to their death. And that is what they're showing me. He has been...
He's led people to their death. That's what I just said. I don't know if you can... I hope you can hear it. This is... I'm forgetting... I forgot all about this.
like kind of like a Hitler type style, the Hitler they predict, where he took his own people and he sacrificed their lives. Okay.
So he will sacrifice his own people for his financial gain. And he's a cheater. I forgot about that too. His loyalty is not where you think it is.
This is kind of, he's like a sacrificial lamb Okay, and that's what Spirit's showing me is like his agenda is not what you think it is. Okay, his agenda is not what you think it is. He makes it look like he's here for the people, but he's really not. Okay, he struggles with that. That's that Orion energy. He's got some negative energy. This is Elon Musk. Okay, who in the hell is Elon Musk? And if, let's say, we stayed on a certain timeline where the divine masculine doesn't fix this imbalance and the men are still way out of balance within the world and the collective.
Oh, they are. I got a walk-in DM since this video, and my first DM did not make it. I had to do a lot of that on my own, and I got a walk-in, and he still struggles to rise into his power. So there's still an imbalance in the masculine side. And now we're where we are. Let's listen.
I don't see him clearing his karma at all, because he has not done it yet. And
so if the masculine didn't rise, Elon Musk would not have cleared his karma. Let's listen some more.
Elon Musk has a huge piece of karma to clear in this Orion energy. He's supposed to do that through the decisions that he makes in this lifetime. Right now, he is borderline not making the correct decisions. So he's inching his way into the reptilian energy. And that is what I see. He plays in both fields, okay? He uses the knowledge that he has to benefit him, not you. He's not trying to benefit humankind. He has an agenda, and this is what they're showing me. He actually, with this, like the SpaceX thing, he thinks he's going to be the president. He will probably run for president, according to a certain timeline, okay? This was his agenda. And when he runs for president, he wants to take all the power. He wants to make people think that he's for the people, but he's not. He's really for the power. Not to mention, he thinks he's going to take Earth into a galactic force. So in his mind, we're going to be traveling between Earth and other planetary systems, SpaceX. He thinks, this is what they're showing me, he thinks he's going to take over presidency of our world and like the universal flow and combine planets, and he's going to run them. Delusional at best.
Dude, this was back in 2022. I literally said he thinks he's going to take over the White House and then use his SpaceX stuff to travel between planets and run them all and own them all. And we are going into a galactic Earth, so he thinks he's going to be the leader of the free world. And look what's happening now. I said this in 22, and look what he's doing now. So if you think there's any coincidence to him all of the sudden going against Trump, think again.
This guy has got a very large ego, and he's going to make you think that he is for the people. Here's another thing they're giving me too, is I keep seeing this new Twitter deal that he did, and I see Mark Zuckerberg involved. So there's darkness here. This was not a deal of goodness. This is a deal of darkness, okay? This is not something that they're going to try to make freedom of the people. It's not happening. I feel like what he's trying to do is manipulate the universal flow. However, because he is in both sides, if he chooses to clear this karma and ascend in this lifetime, you will see the shift, okay? You will see the shift that he has and that he will go through. At this point, though, he is inching more towards the reptilian energies and allowing them to kind of take control of his decision making. Through cheating, through different things. That's what I'm seeing here. Because he is married to Grimes. She is much younger than him. She stroked his ego, right? But I do feel like he's cheated on her. He has let some darkness in. Okay, he has an agenda to clear certain things. So I'm reading what they've channeled through to me yesterday. There is some darkness within him, some karma to clear. Okay, but he's focused more on personal gain. It's not for the people. He is a powerful leader in the Andromedan background. Okay, Orion is the Karman cleanse through choices. This is his life purpose. He dances with both sides. He can go either way. Okay, some reptilian energy is already in him. Cheated on wife. He's very controlling. It's a love-hate relationship that he and his wife has. And son's name is ego-based. Like, why the hell did he thinks he's going to be in, like, the leader of the universe, not just the Earth, you guys. This guy really does think he's going to be president of multiple planets. Now, how do you do that? He thinks he's going to do it. He thinks he's going to be the first president of multiple planets.
And look what's happening. They literally talked about his rocket ship in here. Where was that? Oh, they showed a picture of him with the rocket right there. Look at that. Like, seriously, like, I can't make this stuff up. And I talked about this back in 2022, and it's literally playing out right in front of our eyes.
Musk plans to take over the world. President, and then I put like Hitler. So that's what I see. It's like Hitler. Like, he's going to lead his people, and he's going to expect them to do what he says, or he will lead them into death. He doesn't care about that. Like,
That's his
he
personality.
does not care about that. He knows what's going on with the earth more than he's leading on to the people. So he's manipulating what information he puts out there to make people think that he is for the people, right? This is what they do. Okay, the only one that I noticed didn't do that was the one most people treated like shit.
Trump.
Okay. And then it does say Mark Zuckerberg connection with Twitter purchase. Okay. So here he's supposed to be purchasing Twitter. He's supposed to be making us think that he's for the people, for freedom. I think it said something about releasing the ban on Trump. So he's trying to make us think it's good. Okay. However, it's not exactly a good thing. What I see with that is he's got a hidden agenda, and that's what Spirit is showing me. This man has a big hidden agenda. However, he's supposed to be clearing karma. So he was able to get to a place of power because he is supposed to help clear that karma. Okay? But the problem is there's an imbalance in the masculines. I've tried to tell my divine masculine he's affecting the whole, and hopefully he gets that someday. Because it is. This imbalance within the masculines is also affecting Elon Musk. It's affecting the whole collective whole. And I think with that, he may sway to the light. But right now, he is more in the darkness. Okay? So this purchase of Twitter, all of these things, what he's trying to do is save. Here's the best way, okay? He's trying to save what's being undone so that he can have the power. Well, if all these leaders are being ousted, I look like the good guy. I'm going to come in and I'm going to take all this power. That's what he's about. His ego has definitely been stroked. His agenda is not of the people. His agenda is of money and power. That's his agenda right now. His agenda is the straight up Andromedan energy. I'm going to rule this world and I don't care what I have to do to get there. Okay, so he's making everybody think one way. Everybody's going to think that he's there to help. He's there to take out the negative, and he's going to give us a free space and for the people. It's false, my friends. That's what I can tell you. His agenda is not that. His agenda is he wants to own the world, and he wants to own the galaxy, so like multiple planets. And he thinks he's going to be able to like go between planets. And this is his vision, and he sees his son like taking over that, which is part of why his son's name is the way it is. Okay, and this is what Spirit's telling me. This is his agenda. Like, I can't reiterate this enough. I don't doubt it at all. He has, he's definitely borderline reptilian, and that's what they're telling me. So he's listening to them. It can still go either way, all right? It depends on if he chooses to clear his karma for the ascension or not. If not, he will not be ascending in this lifetime. That's what Spirit is showing me with Elon Musk. Okay?
Well, there you go, my friends. There you go. So, again, that's why they wanted me to have this video, isn't it? I love it. And then if you watch the entire Return of Christ, you know, like, we can't, it's all here. I had no idea either. Like, back in 2022, I had no idea this is where we were going to be at today. I hadn't even got a walk-in twin flame at that point. I didn't undo the Holy Grail yet at that point. That didn't come until Christmas Day of 22. And then undoing the money matrix and the pentagon and the pentagram, all of the power from the pentagram has been returned. All the symbols from religion has been returned. I told you Trump would win, but never in there do I tell you he is the Antichrist. I actually speak of Elon Musk as being darker than Trump. I've grounded Trump. He's just part of the undoing of the agenda. He's not a part of the agenda. He is actually more for the people. than any of these other people. And I said that in the video too. So this is insane. And I also told you what would happen with the submersible. Everything that I've said has come through, and everything that I've done is now swinging through. It's insane. And I also told you we were going to have those fires. Those are in my predictions for 2025. Like, how much more proof do we need right now? This is kind of fun. Like, it really is to watch all this unfold. Don't let it stress you out. Some of us will be in a different reality than others. And if you really want to understand that, you're going to watch Birthing the New Earth, because when I birthed the new Earth recently, that was our final union of my twin flame and I in the final timeline, Adam and Eve. And I separated all darkness from light. Darkness cannot get into New Earth. We cannot be duality anymore. And by day 6, all darkness was cut off from the light. So the heartbeat of God was removed from the fallen, because they were connected. So we cannot stay that way. We cannot, okay? Birthing life, calling back all light, and return of Christ and flame of Adam and Eve. So this really is the end of ways. You know, you can't get any more ending than that. However, it's a good one. It's not the apocalypse. God calls it the return of the gods. So again, some of us will have a different experience than others. Don't let this stuff stress you out. Really don't. Okay? I mean, unless you want to, unless it still has a hold on you, to which I can't change that for you other than tell you you don't have to be that way. This is pretty freaking cool. I will post the video about Elon below, and you can watch all my stuff. I'm not hiding anything. I'm not afraid to show and prove who I am. It is weird, but it is who I am. It's been my awakening, and I won't deny who I am. So check it out, okay? So much love to all of you. We'll see you later. Saudi Arabic ties came through before when I did the Obama video. You should check out that one too. I'll see you guys. Bye.